welcome to the Ronald L. Jones Herbarium at EKU. Come on in. Oh, note that if you have fresh or dried but unfrozen plant material, you have to go in our quarantine entrance so we can process those plants. But if you are without plants, you can come right on in. Okay, so here we are. We have a welcome station here. So when we have visitors, we like to have them sign in so we can keep track of activity in your herbarium. And come on in. This is the herbarium prep room, and we have mounting of specimens happens here. We have worker cabinets in here, so students and scholars that are working on floristic projects or things can have the specimens here that they're currently working on. We have workspaces here with dissecting scopes where folks can examine specimens, and several computing stations, as well as a dissecting scope that's hooked to a digital camera and a computer so that you can collect photos and use some imaging software to do measurements and things on morphology. So that's the prep room, and now I'll take you around to see some of the other work rooms before we get into the herbarium proper. So first, let's take a look at the quarantine room. So if you had brought in fresh specimens or dry specimens that hadn't been through a freezer, you enter from the other door into our quarantine room here. And in this room, we have a work area where you can press specimens and build a plant press. We have our materials over here, the corrugates to build plant presses, blotter paper, foam inserts for when you have woody or just really thick plant materials in the plant press, plant presses and boxes for shipping specimens, and a healthy supply of newsprint that we use to put specimens in when we're pressing and drying those. We also have two drying cabinets. Come on in. And we also have a third one down in the botany lab. And so the drying cabinets have forced air heaters in the bottom, and the hot air rises up through a plant press that would be in here, and it dries the specimens out quickly, and that allows us to preserve the specimens, maintaining actually the color in a lot of specimens and the quality of the DNA in the tissues. So that's pretty cool. After the plants are dry, then we take them out of the wooden frames from the press and place that bundle in a plastic bag. And then we put that in this -40 freezer and leave it in here for several days or a week. And that cold temperature will kill any insects that are on there, and also kill most insect eggs that we would be concerned about as creatures that would consume our plant specimens. So they stay in here generally for a week, and then once we take them out of there, then the specimens are able to come into the herbarium proper. So at that point, specimens generally end up being mounted onto archival paper. And I do have a video of our grad student curator doing that for us. And then they go into the digitization room. So in this room, we have two imaging stations There's one here and one over there. And we have the cameras that look down on the specimen, and we take the image and we scan barcodes that are on the specimens, and then we're able to upload them into the CERNEC portal, the Southeast Regional Network of Expertise in Collections, and then our data is searchable by anyone with an internet connection, and they can pull up images of the specimen and label data and so on. So that's what happens in this room. And then finally, come into the collection itself. Welcome. So this is the actual herbarium proper, where the specimens are housed. We have workstations with dissecting scopes and tools, and additional ones here. And then the specimens, look through there, the specimens are in these special metal cabinets that have very tight seals, and the seals help prevent any insects from getting access to the specimens, and it also keeps them safe from moisture and dirt and things like that. So number one way of protecting them is keeping them in these cabinets. And then also we've got some environmental readings here. We keep the temperature low in the room. That is also a way of helping prevent any pest damage. And we keep the humidity low in here. So the cabinets are on these mobile carriages. So that allows us to maximize how many specimens we can fit in a small footprint. And the way that we have it organized is ferns, gymnosperms, dicots, monocots, and then specimens from the herbarium that used to be at Berea College are kept separate right now. And within a section, like we are in the EKY dicots now, they are alphabetized by family name. So if we wanted to look at, let's look at Silphium in the Asteraceae, that probably shouldn't be so aggressive. You find that here, so I think you can see. So we're going to open this. It has a D handle. There you go. And the specimens are kept in archival folders. They have the species name on the outside, and they're alphabetized within the family by genus. And what we generally do, I want to demonstrate proper use, so I'm going to grab the cardboard. I keep a supply of cardboards here. For proper handling of the specimens, you really want to support them and slide the cardboard in underneath the folders. And while it might be tempting to just take out a single folder, sometimes if you do that, it can be tricky to return that folder to the exact spot where it needs to go. So I always recommend taking all of the folders within a cubby, so that when you take it back, there's no question that you're getting it in the right spot. A misfile specimen can be a specimen that's lost for ages. So then we can take the specimen that we're interested in seeing, and whenever you're not actually opening a cabinet, it's a good procedure to always close it. That's going to protect the specimen. And then you take the specimens to a work surface, and to actually look through specimens, you never want to flip them over like pages in a book. You always want to lift them and move them aside, so no rifling through. All right. So one last thing is that when people are studying the specimens, if they note that a specimen has a name on it that is no longer the currently accepted name, we ask that they give us an updated annotation. So throughout the herbarium, we have annotation labels like this one, and we have archival pens that have ink that's acid-free and water-resistant, and they would put the current name, including its authority, the individual's name and the date, and they put that with the specimen and place it on the cart in the main room so that I can update the name in our online database. So that's the herbarium.